Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are working with a new piece of equipment that it's taken me a little bit of time to get familiar with. It's a stump grinder that is an attachment for a skid steer. It's a high flow unit. It's called the Miller stump grinder, and it's a product by Diamond Mower Attachments. I've been very impressed with this stump grinder. I've always been curious. About skid steer stump grinders, and this one right here was designed to be more like a dedicated unit, also known as a self-propelled unit, and that's what I'm used to. I've had a 56 horsepower diesel, Kohler diesel, 552 Vermeer stump grinder, and it was an absolute monster of a machine. I love that machine. I sold it, unfortunately, and I kind of regret selling it. But I've also had a 74 horsepower diesel diesel track Bandit stump grinder, and I've also had a 382 Vermeer stump grinder, a gas. It was a 37 horse, and I enjoyed all of them. And I'd only heard about skid steer stump grinders. I didn't know anything about them. And I did a lot of research. I wanted one that they have all kinds, but I wanted one that was what I was used to, where you have the full swing, you have the up and down, and it actually telescopes out. And they did a really good job with this. I've been very impressed with it. This is a 299 cat skid steer. It's 110 horse. Like I said, it is a high flow machine. And if I had to compare this to one of my other machines, I would like to compare it to probably the 74 horse Bandit. It has green teeth. It comes equipped with a green teeth setup. I think 900 series. No, I take that back. Those might be 700 series green teeth. So this is a round tooth with concave. But I've been very impressed. We're gonna do a video of this stump right here. We're looking at. I'm having to grind out to the, there's a root right here, there's one over here. And basically, I'm gonna say that's probably about a 5-foot diameter. The stump itself right here is probably about 18 inches. A large portion of the trunk that meets the ground is going to be probably around 2.5 foot. From here to the other side, or here to the other side, however you want to look at it. But like I said, I'm going to be grinding out to about right here. I want to make sure I get all the roots. So we're going to, in real time, we're going to grind this stump so you can see for yourself. And this might be a unit that you'd be interested in purchasing. I'll talk a little bit about the pros and cons here in just a minute. Then So where are we at? What on time?
1840.
Huh?
1842.
1842.
Yeah.
So it took about 18 minutes to grind the stump. Alright. So videos never do it any justice. I ground, I said 5, it was probably more like a 4 foot area. Around about a 4 foot area. 2.5 of that was solid oak stump. That was a red oak. It was solid. And I went about 8 inches deep. So 18 minutes. Honestly thought I was going to be able to get it done in 10. So I'm learning. I would say I'm probably at 90% efficiency with it. So it comes with a, here, come this way. It comes with this remote. It's a little, just one little joystick, and this is your up and down. This right here, I don't know if you noticed, but most of the time I was actually moving forward with the skid steer instead of telescoping out with the grinder head, because it's faster. It's just faster to move forward with the skid steer instead of move the stump grinder head forward. But as you saw in the video, it does extend forward. It probably extends out about a foot, so it doesn't extend out as much as I would like it to, but that's not a big deal because I can just move the machine forward a lot quicker regardless. And then you have this next button right here that just allows it to swing side to side. So you can also get this thing to where it is wired straight into your skid steer, and then you can just use the joysticks on your inside the cab, and then you don't have to have this third or this joystick here. I'm not sure how much more efficient that would make it. I haven't done it. I plan on doing that. So let's talk about a few pros and cons real quick. Pros and cons. I'll say yesterday I was using this thing. I ground 13 or 14 stumps, and some of them were much bigger than what I just did right here. Much bigger. And it took me an hour. Now a few of the pine stumps were rotten, but it took me an hour and 40 minutes, maybe an hour and 45 minutes, just to give it just to be a little generous. I would say that was extremely efficient. I didn't charge this to the customer, but I mean, an hour and 40 minutes, and that job was about a 800 to 1,000. I mean, you could have bid the job anywhere from $800 to $1,200, and I don't know. I would say that's pretty good living if you did that day in, day out. But anyway, it started raining yesterday, and I just kept going. I was in the cab, so I would definitely say that is a blessing. I like that a lot better, even though my dedicated units had a wireless remote, and I could maybe stand under a shed or something. It is so nice. This thing has air conditioner and music and all that stuff, and anyway, it's nice to be able to, especially whenever it's 110 degrees outside, it's nice to be able to stay nice and cool. So that's definitely a huge plus. I'll talk about one of the cons would be hooking this thing up all the time. You know, that can kind of get old. So it's one thing if this is what this unit typically is for, so you just leave it all hooked up. Now that's one thing, but if you're constantly swapping out attachments, which I do, I'll switch from this to my grapple, to my bucket, to my if you've seen my other video with the heavy duty brush cutter, I use that quite often. But so that's like a downside, but at the same time it's an upside because this machine can do all of it. Kind of like a one-stop shop with this machine. Well, I'd say one of the, this isn't much of a con once you get used to it, but you probably wonder how well you can see being inside the cab. And this thing sticks out 5 foot. And I mean, so from the distance of the cab to where the cutter wheel is, you're about 8 feet. And you get used to it. At first I was like, I don't like this. But once I got used to the control and how everything moved, you get used to it. Just like anything, you get used to it. So you do have a blind spot to where your dedicated machines, you can stand out front and you can see everything at all times. Unfortunately, you can't with this. You can't. So if you're hitting a brick or something like that, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it, unfortunately. So that's definitely going to be a downfall. So far, I've been all right. But once that's only when the cutter head is in the middle. But once you swing past this way, you can see where you've cut. Same thing on this side. Once it swings out of the way of the middle, you can see the whole swipe. So you get used to that. You can see how deep you're going down and all that stuff. So you get used to it. I don't know how this machine, they also make this same unit in a standard flow. I've never used that unit. I've only used the high flow. So I'm sorry, I can't really talk much about the standard flow. And I don't know how it would do on really anything but the Cat 299. Like I said, it's a 110 horsepower machine. And when I was grinding on purpose, I took some big bites. One time I took one really big bite. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you what this machine can do. I mean, it can, like, you can hear it bog down a very, very little, but it just powers through it. I would not recommend doing that. I just wanted to show what it could do. So yeah, that's that. It has down here at the bottom, it has a push blade. So I really like that about this machine. So once you're supposed to leave this thing on the ground, and it makes for a more stabilized grind. But even with this thing, I ground some stumps the other day this high off the ground. I had to lift this thing way up here, and very little vibration in the cab, very little. And I mean, you barely notice it, honestly. So that's going to be one of the perks about this. Like if you are doing storm cleanup, uprooted trees, you could lift this thing up and grind and be just fine. So I do like the blade. It can cover the holes back up. That's really nice. Let's see what else. I know I'm not covering everything on it. There's not a whole lot out there on these grinders. If you know anything about diamond mowers, though, diamond mower attachments, I have done research on diamond mower attachments, and they have some really good attachments out there. But there's not hardly anything on this stump grinder. So, well, you've seen it for yourself. It's a nice rig. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna be doing more videos on this. If you haven't checked out what the heavy duty brush cutter can do, it's the Alpha Wolf XP. Check that video out, like and subscribe. And for y'all who are wondering about the homestead, we are just kind of taking a little bit of a break from the homestead right now. Not that we don't like the homestead or anything anymore, because we do. But in the meantime, I figured I would put out some videos of what I do for a living. So I hope you enjoy, and if you do, please like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully we can, you know, keep doing this for y'all. All right, well, y'all have a good day. Take care. See you next time.